Landman Season 2 Episode 1 just got hit with some leaked trailer footage, and what we're seeing changes everything. The power shifts, the alliances, the betrayals, what's coming is bigger, darker, and more dangerous than anything we saw in Season 1. And if you thought the oil fields of West Texas were already boiling, trust me, this season is about to erupt. From the very first frames of the leaked trailer, you can tell Season 2 Episode 1 is not wasting a single second easing us back in. We're thrust right back into the aftermath of Monty Miller's death, and the tension is already suffocating. The oil fields look the same, but the energy is completely different now. Like everyone knows a storm is coming and no one's ready for it. The trailer opens with Tommy Norris standing in silence, his face worn, his eyes sharp like a man who knows he's about to walk into war. And to be clear, Tommy isn't just fighting to hold on to the business, he's fighting to hold on to his family, his territory, and honestly, his identity. Because with Monty gone, everything is shifting. Power is up for grabs. Lines are about to be crossed. And the wildest part? The players stepping onto the board this season are even more dangerous than before. Cammy Miller is front and center now. In Season 1, she was the quiet observer, the poised widow who carried herself with elegance but kept her emotions close. Now, she's stepping out of the shadows with the confidence of a woman who has nothing left to fear. The leaked footage shows her sitting at the head of a long boardroom table with oil executives, politicians, and investors staring at her, waiting to see who she's going to be now that Monty's gone. And she doesn't hesitate. She says it clearly, without shaking, without blinking. I'm not here to replace Monty, I'm here to surpass him. And just like that, the tone of Season 2 is set. Tommy sees it too. There's a moment in the footage where Tommy looks across the room at Cammy, and you can tell he already knows things are about to get messy. He once said, "She owns the company, but I run it." But now, that balance is gone. Cammy isn't satisfied with owning. She wants to control every decision, every deal, every piece of land, every ounce of leverage, and she's not afraid to burn bridges or bodies to get it. This is the new battlefield. And while Tommy has experience, loyalty, and grit, Cammy has ambition sharpened by grief. That is a dangerous combination. But that's just one side of the pressure hitting Tommy. The leaked trailer shows him making a late-night phone call, voice low, hands shaking just enough to let you know he's desperate. And when the camera cuts, we hear one word, pops. And instantly, everything shifts. Because that means Sam Elliott's character, Tommy's estranged father, is being pulled into the story from the very beginning. The original Landman, the man who built the blueprint for this entire lifestyle, and the man Tommy has spent his entire life both trying to live up to and trying to escape. Him returning doesn't just stir up old wounds, it changes the entire power dynamic. Because if Sam Elliott's character steps in, he isn't coming to support Tommy, he's coming to challenge him. And the trailer makes that clear. There's a scene where Tommy and his father stand in silence, staring across a dusty ranch yard at each other. Not speaking, not moving, but saying everything without a word. Years of history, years of resentment, years of unfinished business. And then now, they're forced back together right when everything is falling apart. Meanwhile, the emotional heart of Tommy's life, Angela and their daughter Ainsley, is already under strain. Angela is trying to hold the family together, like she always does. But the weight is heavier than ever. And Ainsley, now away at college, is dealing with what it means to grow up connected to power that comes with consequences. In Season 1, she had glimpses of what her family's world really looks like. But in Season 2, she's going to see the cost. The leaked footage shows her on the phone with her mother, crying quietly in a dorm hallway, whispering, "I don't want to be part of this." And that line alone tells us her storyline is about to get emotionally intense. Because the Norris family is being pulled in every direction. Business, blood, loyalty, power, and everyone is about to feel the fallout. But the real wild card this season, the thing that elevates every stake, is the cartel storyline. Andy Garcia's character enters the frame like a shadow that's been waiting for the right moment. The leaked footage shows brief flashes of him at a private ranch, surrounded by heavily armed men, calm and smiling like a man who already knows he's in control. And when Tommy steps into that world, it's not business, it's survival. The cartel doesn't do partnerships, they do ownership. And if Tommy thinks he's under pressure now, this is only the beginning. The leaked trailer doesn't give us all the answers, but it gives us the warning. Season 2. Episode 1 is about power, legacy, and the cost of stepping into a world where every decision cuts deeper than the last. And the craziest part? This is just the first episode. What becomes clear in the leaked trailer is that episode 1 isn't just focused on reacting to Monty's death. It's about the fallout spreading like wildfire across every corner of West Texas. And Tommy, whether he wants to be or not, is standing in the center of it. One particular leaked sequence shows Tommy stepping into Monty's office for the first time since the funeral, and the silence of that room hits like a punch. The desk is cleared, the liquor shelf is untouched. The chair where Monty once sat towering over every deal, every threat, every negotiation, now empty. But instead of this being a moment of victory or relief, you can see in Tommy's eyes that this is a moment of responsibility weighing harder than anything he has ever faced. Because Monty wasn't just a boss, he was the one who set the rules of how this world works. And now that he's gone, everyone is rewriting those rules at the same time. Tommy is trying to keep things from collapsing, but the pressure is already pulling him apart. Cammy, meanwhile, isn't waiting. She's already moving pieces behind the scenes, and the leaked trailer doesn't even try to hide it. There's a shot of her meeting privately with a group of landowners, walking the property in high heels like she owns the dirt itself. The camera catches her saying, "This land doesn't care who takes it, just who's willing to fight hardest to keep it." And the way she says it, that's not just confidence, that's a warning. Cammy is stepping into power with intent. But the most striking leak about Cammy isn't what she says, it's what she does. The leaked footage suggests she's already taking steps to cut deals Tommy doesn't know about. Deals that shift financial control, political favor, and operational leverage into her hands. And she's doing it so smoothly that by the time Tommy realizes what's happening, she might already be too far ahead. And what's chilling is that Cammy isn't fueled by greed or ego. She's fueled by survival. Losing Monty didn't break her. It sharpened her. And now she's building a version of the empire that doesn't need a king, because the queen is more dangerous alone. But Tommy's biggest problem isn't even Cammy. It's the cartel. The leaked trailer shows glimpses, quick cuts, nothing too revealing, but enough to make it clear that whatever deal Tommy made, it wasn't just risky, it was desperate. And desperate deals never come without consequences. Andy Garcia's character appears as a calm, composed leader of the cartel, a man who doesn't raise his voice because he doesn't need to. His quiet is the threat. His presence is the warning. In one scene, Tommy sits across from him, trying to negotiate like they're equals. And Garcia's character just smiles, not a friendly smile, a knowing smile, a smile that says, "You're already in my world. You don't get to walk back out." And in that moment, you see Tommy realize exactly how deep he has gotten himself. Because this isn't business. This is power backed by violence. A world where loyalty is enforced, not given. Meanwhile, the emotional stakes tighten. Angela is watching Tommy slip further into this world, and she's trying to hold on to the last pieces of normal life. But she's also tired of cleaning up the emotional wreckage. The leaked footage shows her confronting Tommy, not in anger, but in fear. The kind of fear that comes when you've seen the cost of power up close and know it doesn't end with money. It ends with casualties. She tells him, "You can't save everyone." And the look Tommy gives her isn't denial. It's realization. He knows. He's already choosing who gets protected and who gets sacrificed. And Ainsley? Her storyline continues to fracture from the inside. The trailer doesn't show much, but what it does show speaks volumes. Ainsley, surrounded by students who live normal lives, who don't have entire regions hanging on their family name. And you can see the disconnect and the guilt. Because she can try to leave this world, but it will always follow her. That's the legacy she was born into, and hovering above everything is Sam Elliott's character. He doesn't need dialogue in the leaked footage to make his presence shake the entire foundation of the story. One glimpse, standing on the ranch porch, arms crossed, weathered face hardened by years of building and surviving, and you immediately know that everything Tommy is dealing with now started long before him. This isn't just business. This is generational. This is legacy. This is the cost of a life built on land, oil, and power. And the father's return doesn't stabilize things. It destabilizes everything. Because now the question isn't who controls the company. It's who controls the name. And that fight is always the one that cuts deepest. Season 2. Episode 1 is shaping up not to introduce the conflict, but to ignite it. Every relationship is under strain. Every alliance is temporary. Every move has consequences. And the leaked trailer makes one thing very clear. In West Texas, power doesn't shift quietly. It explodes. What really stands out in the leaked trailer is how quickly the balance of power begins to tilt in unexpected directions. And episode 1 isn't afraid to show the cracks forming before anyone even has the chance to react. The oil field scenes look different now. Not chaotic, but tense, controlled by fear rather than leadership. Workers are whispering behind equipment, trucks roll in slower, radios crackle with half-finished conversations, and everyone is on edge because they know that when an empire loses its king, the ground becomes unstable. And this time, it's not just business deals and ownership rights being threatened. It's survival. There's a moment where Tommy walks through the drilling site, and the men watch him, not with loyalty, but uncertainty. They want to know who is really in charge now, Tommy or Cammy. And the truth is, Tommy doesn't fully know. That uncertainty is where the danger begins to spread. Because in this world, power isn't just something you hold. It's something everyone else agrees you hold. And the second they stop believing, everything collapses. Cammy, meanwhile, is making her move in a way that feels straight out of the playbook of every ruthless empire builder. She isn't trying to overpower Tommy directly. She's building her influence quietly, piece by piece, starting with the people who actually keep the company alive. The lawyers, the financial operators, the land brokers, the silent partners who stay hidden until the money stops flowing. The leaked footage shows her in a closed-door meeting with investors, laying out a plan that is calm, calculated, and surprisingly logical. She doesn't talk about oil like a resource. She talks about it like leverage. And when someone challenges her decision-making, she doesn't react emotionally. She simply says, "Every empire begins with the person willing to do what others won't." And the room goes silent. This isn't the grieving widow anymore. This is a woman who has found her purpose, and that purpose is power. The fact that she delivers all of this without raising her voice is what makes her dangerous. But while Cammy is expanding outward, Tommy is being pulled inward, and the real emotional gravity comes from the presence of his father. Sam Elliott's character doesn't come into the story with speeches or explanations. He arrives the way storms do, quietly, but with impact you can feel before you even see it. The leaked trailer gives us just one scene of the two of them speaking, and it's enough to understand everything. Tommy tells him he needs his help. His father responds with something along the lines of, "Help is what you ask for before you're in trouble. You're past that now." The tone isn't cruel, it's honest. It's the kind of sentence that hits harder because it comes from a man who has seen more loss and war and hardship than most people could survive. The father doesn't come to save Tommy, he comes to see whether Tommy is a man worth saving. And that distinction sets up one of the deepest emotional conflicts of the entire season. Because Tommy has always fought to prove himself, to the world, to the field, to the ghosts of men who built before him. But now he has to prove himself to the man whose shadow he has lived in his entire life. And while all of this personal and corporate tension unfolds, the cartel presence continues to slide into the picture like smoke through a cracked door. Andy Garcia's character is shown less in action and more in atmosphere. Controlled, precise, watching from a distance. The leaked trailer doesn't need to show violence to make you feel the threat. It shows implication. A convoy of black SUVs moving across open land. A handshake that lingers 1 second too long. A look that communicates power without saying anything at all. This is the kind of antagonist who doesn't need to make threats, because everyone already knows what he can do. And that's the point. Tommy is stepping into a world where one wrong decision doesn't lead to lawsuits or financial collapse. It leads to body bags. And the deeper he gets, the more we realize he may not be steering the situation at all. He may simply be trying to slow down the inevitable. Angela senses this before anyone else. The leaked trailer includes a quiet moment between her and Tommy in their kitchen, late at night, where she asks him a question that cuts more deeply than any business confrontation. When did we stop being a family? And Tommy doesn't answer. Not because he doesn't know, but because he does. The job, the land, the money, the power, it always came first. And now the cost is coming due. Ainsley's storyline reflects that same emotional fracture. She's trying to step away, to live a life outside of the legacy she was born into, but the world keeps pulling her back, not through force, but through the realization that this life has shaped her more than she ever understood. You can leave the land, but the land doesn't leave you. So as episode 1 unfolds, we see every major thread tightening at the same time. Power is shifting, trust is breaking, old wounds are resurfacing, new threats are emerging. And every character is being pulled into a place where they will have to choose who they are and what they are willing to lose. The leaked trailer tells us one thing very clearly. Season 2 isn't about rebuilding the empire, it's about deciding who survives it. The deeper the leaked trailer takes us into episode 1, the more it becomes clear that loyalty is going to be the most fragile and most dangerous theme this season. Everyone is choosing sides, even if they don't say it out loud. Dale, Tommy's longtime right hand and almost son figure, becomes the emotional pivot here. For the first time, we see him caught between admiration and doubt. He has always followed Tommy without question, but now the company is shifting, the leadership is shifting, and the stakes are higher than he ever imagined. The leaked trailer shows a moment where Dale overhears a conversation he was never meant to hear. Cammy and 2 board members discussing restructuring the company's leadership. And the phrasing they use is what changes everything. They don't say replacing Tommy, they say phasing him out. That is the moment where Dale realizes that the world he believed in, the man he trusted, the system he thought was stable, none of it is guaranteed. And that crack in loyalty is going to open up into something much bigger as the season goes on. Because Dale has always been the quiet backbone, the one who carries weight without demanding recognition. But now he may have to choose between the man who taught him everything and the future he wants to survive in. And choices like that don't just break trust, they reshape the battlefield. But the biggest shift comes when the Norris family legacy itself begins to feel like a curse instead of a foundation. Sam Elliott's character, Tommy's father, doesn't return to offer comfort. He returns to confront history. And the history between them runs deep. The leaked trailer shows a flashback sequence, not long, just a few seconds, of young Tommy watching his father ride out across the fields at sunrise. No dialogue, just distance. And when the scene snaps back to present day, the 2 men stand face to face, older, hardened, weathered by the land that raised them and the mistakes that shaped them. Tommy tells his father that he needs his guidance. His father responds, "Guidance is for boys. You're a man now. Act like one." That line hits harder than any threat could, because Tommy is realizing that all his life he has been trying to prove himself to a man who may never give him the approval he has spent decades chasing. And that emotional tension is now layered on top of cartel danger, corporate war, and family strain. It's the perfect storm, internal and external conflicts feeding each other with no relief in sight. Meanwhile, Ainsley continues to serve as the emotional compass of the story. Her distance from home doesn't protect her, it isolates her. She sits in classrooms next to students who will inherit normalcy, while she carries a legacy written in oil, land fights, and silence. And the leaked footage shows her beginning to question who she is if she steps away from her family, and who she becomes if she stays. There is a moment where she says softly, "I don't know what version of me is mine." And it echoes the generational identity struggle that has defined the Norris family for decades. Because in this world, your name comes before your choices. And Ainsley is the first to question whether that is a burden worth carrying. But the cartel storyline continues to loom darkest of all. The leaked trailer ends one sequence with a quiet but chilling scene. Tommy walking into a dimly lit room where Andy Garcia's character sits alone at a table, looking calm, almost gentle. He asks Tommy with a voice that is too calm to ignore, "Did you think partnerships were built on trust? No, they're built on need." And when Tommy asks him what he needs, the cartel leader simply replies, "Time will tell." And that is the real threat. Not a gun, not a demand, but the promise of a future cost. Because debts in this world aren't paid with money. They're paid with blood, land, and loyalty. As episode 1 sets all of this into motion, the tone becomes clear. No one is safe, no relationship is unbreakable, and every character is about to face a decision that will change the entire direction of the story. Landman Season 2 isn't easing back into the world of oil and power, it's escalating it. The stakes are bigger, the pressure is heavier, and the consequences are coming faster than anyone can prepare for. The leaked trailer doesn't show the outcome, it shows the fuse. And the fire is already burning. What the leaked trailer makes absolutely undeniable is that Season 2, Episode 1 is building toward a confrontation that isn't just about business, or land, or even revenge. It's about identity. Who these people are when everything they've built starts to fracture beneath them. By the end of the leaked footage, you can feel the shift happening in real time. Tommy, who has always been the steady center, begins to unravel. Not loudly, not in anger, but in silence. The kind of silence that comes when a person realizes they no longer recognize the life they've been fighting to protect. There's a moment in the leaked footage where Tommy stands alone in an empty field at dusk, the oil rigs behind him clanking in the distance, the sky burning orange and fading into night. For a moment, he looks like a man who is realizing he is caught between two worlds, one he inherited and one he created. And neither one is safe anymore. And the tragedy is, Tommy isn't the only one changing. Cammy is stepping fully into the power she has been preparing for since Monty's death, and she's doing it with the calm conviction of a woman who has already decided she will not be underestimated again. She's not emotional, she's not reckless, she's strategic. The final leaked sequence hints at her preparing a public statement, one that will almost certainly establish her as the new face of the company. But what's chilling is not the speech itself. It's the silence before it. She stands backstage, her expression unreadable, her hands steady. And that steadiness tells the truth. She is not stepping into power. She is claiming what she believes was always hers. And the world is about to see exactly what that looks like. At the same time, Dale's loyalty reaches a breaking point. His respect for Tommy has always been rooted in the belief that Tommy knew who he was and why he fought. But now, with cartel influence tightening and Cammy changing the course of the company, Dale begins to question whether Tommy is still fighting for the land and the people, or if he's simply trying to hold on to something that has already slipped through his fingers. There is a brief leaked glimpse of Dale walking out of a meeting, jaw clenched, eyes conflicted, and you can tell this is the moment where his role shifts from follower to someone who may have to choose his own survival. And when a loyal right hand begins to think for himself, the foundation of everything starts to shake. Meanwhile, Ainsley continues to represent the future, the question of whether this legacy is something worth inheriting or something worth escaping. The leaked footage ends her storyline not with a dramatic moment, but with a quiet one. Ainsley sitting alone on a dorm rooftop staring out at a city skyline, far from West Texas, but emotionally tied to it in every way that matters. The wind is moving her hair, her expression is conflicted, and her phone buzzes with a call she doesn't answer. That one choice, letting the phone ring, speaks loudly. She is trying to breathe outside the weight of her family name. But that weight is not done with her. And when she returns home, and she will, it will not be the same home she left. And then, there's the cartel. The most chilling part of the leaked trailer is not a moment of violence, but a line. Andy Garcia's character, quiet and composed, says, "You came to me because you were out of time." Don't forget that. That sentence alone reframes everything. Tommy isn't in control of this alliance. He's owned by it. And once a cartel marks you as theirs, the only way out is to pay a price that changes you forever. That storyline is not just a threat, it's a countdown. So, as the leaked trailer ends, the message is clear. Season 2, Episode 1 isn't just returning to the world of Landman, it's reshaping it. Every character is stepping into a version of themselves they may not be ready to face. Every alliance is temporary. Every decision carries weight. And the cost of power is about to hit harder than ever. This season isn't building toward conflict. It's beginning inside of one that has already started. And now, every move from this point forward will determine who rises, who falls, and who gets buried under the land that made them. Season 2, Episode 1 premieres soon. And the moment it does, the battle for West Texas truly begins.